Why chasing happiness leaves you empty, the power of inner peace. Buddhist wisdom. Have you ever wondered why, even after achieving so much, you still feel like something is missing? Is the pursuit of happiness truly the right path, or is it an endless cycle that leaves us drained? External happiness, the illusion of fulfillment. In modern life, we're often caught in the race to find happiness in external things. Money, status, fame, and relationships are all seen as symbols of success and joy. But Buddhism teaches that these things are like the wind, fleeting and impermanent. The Buddha once said, "The root of suffering is attachment." When we place our faith in external achievements, we unknowingly tie ourselves to things that are inherently transient. When those things fade away, feelings of disappointment and emptiness are inevitable. Ask yourself, is the happiness you're chasing something you truly need, or is it just a reflection of what others expect from you? Inner peace. The key to true fulfillment. Buddhism emphasizes that genuine happiness doesn't come from having everything but from how we perceive and embrace life in every moment. Inner peace, the unshakable calm within, regardless of external circumstances, is the true foundation of lasting joy. Inner peace isn't about apathy or avoiding challenges. It's about facing life with a calm and wise heart, grounded in the understanding of impermanence, that nothing lasts forever. How to cultivate inner peace. 1. Understand impermanence. Accepting that nothing is permanent helps you let go of fear and anxiety. The Buddha taught, life flows like a river, learn to move with the current instead of resisting it. 2. Practice mindfulness. Happiness isn't a destination, it's found in being fully present. Take a moment to pause, breathe deeply, and appreciate the small things around you, from the chirping of birds to a gentle breeze. 3. Nurture compassion. Opening your heart to love and care for others brings a profound sense of fulfillment. It shifts your focus from selfish desires to the joy of giving. Have you ever felt empty even while chasing happiness? Share your story in the comments below, I'd love to hear from you. If you found value in this video, please don't forget to like it. Share it with your friends and family to spread this meaningful message, and subscribe to Life Lessons for more profound insights to help you live a peaceful and fulfilled life. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, inner peace isn't the destination, it's the path you're already walking. Part 1. Happiness is only temporary. Lessons from Buddhist teachings. What is happiness? Happiness is often understood as a sense of comfort and satisfaction that comes from achieving what we desire. It can be the joy of owning a new item, the pride of being recognized at work, or the contentment that comes from meaningful moments with family and friends. However, Buddhism reminds us that happiness like this does not last. It is like the morning dew, beautiful but quickly dissolving under the sunlight of reality. Impermanence. The nature of worldly happiness. The Buddha taught that everything in life is impermanent, meaning it is constantly changing and nothing is enduring. Happiness is no exception. When we achieve something we've longed for, the feeling of joy rises powerfully. But then what? That feeling will fade, replaced by familiarity or even boredom. Think about a time when you bought the phone you desired. At first, you cherished it and felt wonderful. But after a few months, that phone became just another regular item. And you might even consider upgrading to a newer version. This is a clear example of the impermanence of happiness tied to material possessions. Happiness bound by conditions. Worldly happiness depends on external conditions. It is like a fire that needs fuel to keep burning. Once the fuel runs out, the fire goes out. If you are happy because you achieved a goal, when there is no more goal to pursue, the joy fades. If you are happy because you are loved, when the love fades, you will suffer. Buddhism calls this conditional happiness, a state of happiness dependent on factors beyond our control. We often fail to realize that depending on these conditions not only makes our happiness fragile but also increases our suffering when those conditions change or disappear. Why do we misunderstand happiness? The misunderstanding of happiness stems from attachment and a lack of understanding of the true nature of emotions. Attachment is when we cling too much to external conditions, believing they will bring lasting happiness. However, the truth is that all emotions, including joy, are temporary states. Moreover, we often confuse short-term pleasure with lasting happiness. A luxurious vacation, a delicious meal, or an unexpected gift can bring temporary joy. But it cannot replace the peace and fulfillment that come from within. A lesson from Buddhist teachings: true happiness is not outside of you. Buddhism teaches that true happiness is not about obtaining everything you want, but about letting go of what you don't need. Happiness does not come from owning more, but from deep understanding of oneself and the world. The Buddha emphasized that instead of seeking happiness from outside, we should turn inward, training our minds so they are not disturbed by external changes. When we do this, we will no longer depend on fleeting feelings of joy or sorrow but find lasting contentment through inner peace. How to overcome the misunderstanding of happiness? Understand impermanence. Instead of trying to control everything to maintain happiness, learn to accept change. Everything in life, from relationships, possessions, to emotions, has its own cycle. When you understand that nothing lasts forever, you will be less disappointed and appreciate the present moment more. Practice mindfulness. True happiness lies in the present moment. When you focus on what is happening right now, without being haunted by the past or anxious about the future, you will realize that joy comes from the simple things around you. Let go of attachment. Don't let your happiness depend on external conditions. Focus on mastering your mind, letting go of unnecessary expectations, and accepting yourself completely. Cultivate compassion. When you live with love and forgiveness, happiness will come naturally, without needing to be sought after. This is the lasting happiness that Buddhism calls joy from liberation. The journey toward lasting happiness. Happiness is only temporary if we keep chasing external things. But if we turn inward, understand impermanence, and let go of attachment, we will find inner peace, the foundation for a truly happy and fulfilling life. What do you think about this perspective? Please share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this lesson meaningful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Life Lessons channel to continue receiving valuable teachings from Buddhism. True happiness is not something you seek, it is how you perceive and appreciate life in the present moment. Part 2. The endless desire that leaves us empty. The illusion of constant pursuit. In our fast-paced modern world, it is easy to fall into the trap of constantly seeking external sources of happiness, be it wealth, recognition, or material possessions. The Buddha taught that this relentless pursuit, driven by an insatiable desire, does not lead to fulfillment, but rather to an endless cycle of craving. Each desire satisfied gives birth to another, and before we know it, we are caught in an infinite whirlpool, continuously striving yet never truly achieving satisfaction. This is the nature of desire: when we think we possess something, it always fades, replaced by a deeper, more elusive longing. This cycle is called the wheel of samsara, the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth in which desire drives suffering. The more we acquire, the more we believe that happiness is just one more possession, one more achievement, away. We chase after that elusive sense of completion, only to find that once we have reached our goal, a new desire emerges, pulling us forward once more. The end result? We feel perpetually exhausted, disillusioned, and empty. The joy we believed we would find in the external world is fleeting, and its pursuit only increases our sense of dissatisfaction. The nature of desire: a bottomless pit. The Buddha's teachings reveal that desire is like a bottomless pit, it is never satisfied, never full. Just as a flame consumes fuel, our desires consume our energy, thoughts, and emotions. When we are caught in the grip of craving, We forget that true fulfillment does not come from what we possess, but from how we view and relate to the world around us. Take, for example, the desire for wealth. A person may think that acquiring a certain amount of money will provide them with lasting peace, security, and happiness. However, once that amount is achieved, the person may soon find that their sense of contentment is temporary. New desires appear, a bigger house, a luxury car, a more expensive vacation. Each new possession or experience briefly satisfies the mind, but soon the desire returns, stronger than before, pushing the individual further into an endless loop of striving and wanting. This cycle, if left unchecked, keeps us bound to the material world and traps us in suffering. We become like a hamster on a wheel, running frantically but getting nowhere. The traps of comparison and fear. In addition to craving material possessions, we often find ourselves caught in the trap of comparing our lives to others. This comparison breeds feelings of envy, jealousy, and insecurity. When we look at what others have, be it their success, their relationships, or their possessions, we begin to feel inadequate. This feeling of inadequacy leads to the desire for what others have, and the cycle of craving continues. The Buddha also taught that fear of loss is another powerful force that drives desire. When we become attached to something, whether it's a person, a possession, or an achievement, we fear losing it. This fear of loss only intensifies our craving and creates anxiety. As we become preoccupied with the idea that what we have now may slip away from us. In Buddhist terms, this is called dukkha, which is often translated as suffering or unsatisfactoriness. Dukkha arises from attachment and desire, and it manifests in various forms: physical pain, emotional distress, and existential unease. When we fear losing what we have, we create an inner tension that prevents us from experiencing true peace. The empty promise of external fulfillment. The root of our desire and the source of our suffering lies in our belief that external conditions, money, status, love, and recognition, can bring us lasting happiness. However, the Buddha taught that these things are impermanent and beyond our control. We cannot hold on to them forever. Relationships change. Possessions wear out, and achievements fade with time. The idea that our happiness depends on these fleeting things is an illusion. A mirage that keeps us chasing after something that will always remain out of reach. In truth, the external world will never provide the deep, lasting satisfaction that we crave. Happiness that arises from external conditions is always temporary. This is the nature of samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth that is driven by desire and attachment. Each time we think we've found lasting happiness, it slips away from us, leading to greater frustration and disillusionment. Breaking the cycle, letting go of attachment. So, how do we break free from this cycle of craving and emptiness? The answer lies in the Buddha's teachings on non-attachment, mindfulness, and the cultivation of wisdom. Non-attachment does not mean we should renounce the world entirely or live in poverty. Rather, it means we must let go of our clinging to things, people, and outcomes. It means recognizing that our happiness does not depend on external circumstances but on our internal state of mind. When we no longer cling to what we have or desire what we don't have, we are free. This freedom allows us to experience life fully, without the constant pressure of needing more. Mindfulness, the practice of being present in each moment, is another key to overcoming desire. When we are fully present, we can observe our cravings and attachments without judgment. We learn to recognize the impermanent nature of our desires and understand that they do not define us. We learn to let them come and go without getting caught up in them. Finally, wisdom, developed through meditation and reflection, helps us understand the true nature of suffering and happiness. By cultivating wisdom, we begin to see through the illusion that external things can bring us lasting happiness. We understand that true happiness comes from within. From a mind that is free of craving, fear, and attachment. True fulfillment comes from within. In the end, The endless desire that drives us to seek fulfillment outside ourselves only leaves us feeling empty. The more we strive for external happiness, the more we fall into the cycle of craving and dissatisfaction. But the Buddha's teachings offer a path out of this cycle. By letting go of attachment, practicing mindfulness, and cultivating wisdom, we can break free from the endless pursuit of fleeting desires and find true peace. True fulfillment does not come from what we acquire, but from the peace and contentment that arise from within. When we stop seeking happiness outside of ourselves and start cultivating inner peace, we will find that we are no longer trapped in the endless whirlpool of desire, but instead experience the lasting joy of living in harmony with the world and ourselves. Part 3. Inner peace brings true happiness. The essence of inner peace. In a world that constantly demands more from us, whether it's success, recognition, or material possessions, the pursuit of happiness often feels like an endless race. We look for fulfillment in the fleeting things of the external world, but the Buddha taught us a timeless truth. Happiness does not lie in what we possess or achieve, but in cultivating a profound sense of inner peace. This peace, unlike external pleasures, does not come from outside circumstances, but from the mind's ability to accept and embrace the present moment without attachment, fear, or resistance. True happiness, according to Buddhist teachings, arises from the stillness of the mind, a stillness that is not dependent on the external world but rooted deeply in our own ability to find contentment in what is. When we are at peace with ourselves, we do not need to chase after desires or cling to what we have. Happiness becomes an intrinsic state, unaffected by the ebb and flow of life's circumstances. The nature of inner peace. Inner peace is a state of mental tranquility where the mind is free from the disturbances of negative emotions like anger, jealousy, and fear. It is the ability to remain calm and composed, regardless of the external chaos or challenges we may face. This peace does not mean that life becomes free of difficulty, but that we learn to navigate those difficulties with a sense of equanimity. In Buddhism, inner peace is seen as the foundation of true happiness. Without peace within, all external achievements or possessions are fleeting and ultimately unsatisfying. Peace allows us to appreciate life as it is, without the constant craving for something more. And it opens the path to wisdom, compassion, and true fulfillment. The relationship between acceptance and inner peace. One of the core teachings of Buddhism is acceptance, the ability to embrace the present moment as it is, without judgment or resistance. When we stop fighting against reality and accept things as they are, we release the grip of craving, attachment, and aversion that so often cause suffering. Acceptance does not mean passivity or resignation, rather, it is the recognition that we do not have control over everything and that peace comes from letting go of the need to control outcomes. Consider the example of a person who is stuck in traffic. If they resist the situation, feeling frustrated and angry about being late, their mental state becomes agitated, and they suffer. However, if they accept that they cannot control the traffic, and instead choose to focus on their breath or simply enjoy the present moment, they remain calm, unbothered by the external circumstances. This is a simple yet powerful practice of acceptance that can be applied to many situations in life. The role of mindfulness in cultivating inner peace. Mindfulness, the practice of being fully present and aware in the current moment, is another essential tool for cultivating inner peace. Through mindfulness, we train the mind to become aware of its thoughts, feelings, and reactions without getting caught up in them. This awareness allows us to observe the fluctuations of our mind without attachment, judgment, or the need to act on impulse. By practicing mindfulness, we can develop a deeper understanding of our emotions and how they arise. We learn to recognize that our thoughts and feelings are not permanent, they come and go like clouds in the sky. The key to inner peace is not to resist these emotions, but to allow them to arise and pass without identifying with them or allowing them to dictate our actions. Mindfulness also helps us to appreciate the simplicity of life. When we focus on the present moment, we are no longer preoccupied with past regrets or future anxieties. We begin to see the beauty in the everyday moments, the warmth of the sun on our skin, the sound of birdsong, the taste of food, the feeling of connection with others. In this way, mindfulness becomes a gateway to a deeper appreciation of life and a source of lasting happiness. The power of letting go. The path to peace. Letting go is another crucial aspect of finding inner peace. In Buddhist philosophy, attachment is considered the root of suffering. Our tendency to cling to people, possessions, or outcomes creates an internal tension that prevents us from experiencing true peace. We fear losing what we have, and this fear creates anxiety and unrest. Letting go is not about renouncing all attachments or becoming indifferent to the world. It is about loosening our grip on the things we hold dear and recognizing that true peace comes from within, not from external conditions. When we let go of our attachment to outcomes, we free ourselves from the anxiety that arises when things do not go as planned. We begin to live more freely, unburdened by the weight of expectations and the fear of loss. The Buddha taught the importance of non-attachment, not as a rejection of life, but as a way to engage with life without being controlled by it. When we stop clinging to the impermanent, we open ourselves to the possibility of peace, happiness, and wisdom. We realize that nothing in the external world can provide lasting happiness. It is only when we cultivate inner peace that we can experience true contentment. Compassion as a path to inner peace. In addition to mindfulness and letting go, compassion plays a crucial role in cultivating inner peace. Compassion, both towards others and towards ourselves, creates an environment where peace can flourish. When we approach life with a compassionate heart, we naturally let go of judgment, anger, and resentment. We recognize the interconnectedness of all beings and understand that everyone is going through their own struggles. This understanding allows us to respond to others with kindness, patience, and love, rather than with frustration or hostility. Compassion also extends to ourselves. Often, we are our own harshest critics, holding ourselves to impossible standards and constantly striving for perfection. But true inner peace comes from accepting ourselves as we are, flaws and all. When we are compassionate with ourselves, we can let go of the need for approval or validation from others. We begin to find peace in simply being who we are, without the need to prove ourselves or meet external expectations. Living from a place of inner peace. Once we begin to cultivate inner peace through practices like mindfulness, letting go, and compassion, we start to live from a place of deep contentment. Our happiness is no longer dependent on external circumstances or the fleeting pleasures of the material world. Instead, it arises from the quiet, steady presence of peace within. This inner peace allows us to face life's challenges with equanimity. When difficulties arise, we do not react with frustration or fear, but respond from a place of clarity and calm. We understand that life is impermanent, and that everything, both good and bad, will pass. In this understanding, we find freedom, the freedom to live fully in the present moment, unburdened by the past or the future. The true happiness of inner peace. In conclusion, the Buddha's teachings point us toward a profound truth: true happiness does not lie in the external world, but in the cultivation of inner peace. When we learn to quiet the mind, let go of attachment, and embrace the present moment with mindfulness and compassion, we unlock a source of happiness that is deep, enduring, and independent of external circumstances. Inner peace is not a distant goal or something we must strive to attain. It is something we already possess within us, waiting to be uncovered. As we journey through life, we can return to this peace again and again, allowing it to guide us through every challenge and every moment of joy. When we live from a place of inner peace, we find that we are no longer chasing after happiness, it comes naturally, flowing from the stillness within. Part 4: Practices to achieve inner peace. The path to inner peace through Buddhist practices. Achieving inner peace is not an abstract concept. It is a tangible experience that can be cultivated through regular practice. In Buddhism, the teachings emphasize the importance of mindfulness, meditation, and letting go of attachments. These practices not only help us navigate the challenges of life with grace and clarity but also bring us closer to a state of enduring peace and happiness. The Buddha's teachings guide us toward the realization that peace is not something external that we need to attain, it is an inner state that can be nurtured through intentional practices. To reach this state of inner tranquility, it is necessary to develop a deeper understanding of ourselves and the impermanent nature of existence. Below are some key practices, grounded in Buddhist principles, that can help guide us toward inner peace. 1. Mindful breathing. Connecting with the present moment. One of the foundational practices in Buddhism for cultivating inner peace is mindful breathing. The simple act of focusing on the breath is a powerful way to bring ourselves back to the present moment. Mindful breathing involves paying attention to the inhalation and exhalation, without trying to control or change the rhythm of the breath. Instead, it is about observing the breath as it naturally flows in and out. This practice of mindfulness helps anchor us in the present, where peace resides. Often, we find ourselves lost in thoughts about the past or the future, which creates unnecessary stress and anxiety. By focusing on the breath, we return to the here and now, where we can experience clarity and calmness. The breath becomes a tool for connecting with the present moment and cultivating inner peace. To practice mindful breathing, sit in a comfortable position, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths to relax. Gently bring your attention to the sensation of the breath entering and leaving your body. If your mind starts to wander, simply return your attention to the breath without judgment. Allow thoughts to come and go, like clouds in the sky. As you continue this practice, you may notice that your mind begins to calm, and you feel more connected to the present moment. This practice of mindful breathing is a simple yet effective way to begin cultivating inner peace. 2. Letting go of cravings and attachments. A central teaching in Buddhism is the understanding of impermanence, or the notion that everything in life is constantly changing. This includes our emotions, experiences, and desires. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from attachment, when we cling to things, people, or outcomes. We set ourselves up for disappointment and frustration because nothing in the world is permanent. To achieve inner peace, it is essential to understand the transient nature of life and learn to let go of the things that bind us. This involves relinquishing our cravings and attachments to material possessions, status, and even relationships. When we hold on to these things too tightly, we create mental and emotional turbulence, as we fear losing them or failing to attain them in the first place. Letting go does not mean rejecting or renouncing everything in life, rather, it is about releasing the hold that attachments have on us. We can enjoy life's pleasures without allowing them to control us or define our happiness. When we let go of our cravings, we free ourselves from the cycle of desire and dissatisfaction, and we open ourselves to the peace that comes from within. To practice letting go, reflect on the things you feel attached to in your life. Acknowledge the fear or anxiety that arises when you think about losing them. Understand that everything in life is impermanent. No matter how much we may try to hold on to things, they will eventually change or fade away. Gently release your attachment to these things. Let go of the need to control outcomes and accept life as it is, knowing that peace comes from within, not from external circumstances. 3. Cultivating gratitude, focusing on what truly matters. In Buddhism, cultivating gratitude is an important practice for finding peace in the present moment. Gratitude allows us to shift our focus from what we lack to what we already have. By appreciating the simple blessings in life, we can foster a sense of contentment and joy, which naturally leads to inner peace. When we practice gratitude, we acknowledge the positive aspects of our lives, our health, relationships, the beauty of nature. or the simple acts of kindness we experience. Gratitude is a practice that encourages us to focus on the present moment and to recognize the abundance we already possess. It shifts our mindset from one of scarcity to one of sufficiency. To cultivate gratitude, set aside time each day to reflect on the things you are grateful for. This could be as simple as the people you love, the food you have, or the beauty of nature around you. Practice expressing your gratitude, whether through words, actions, or quiet reflection. Acknowledging the good in your life fosters a deeper sense of appreciation. Whenever you find yourself focusing on what you don't have or what is missing, gently remind yourself of the many blessings you already enjoy. 4. Developing compassion and loving kindness. Compassion and loving kindness, known as metta in Pali, are essential practices in Buddhism that contribute to inner peace. When we cultivate compassion, we open our hearts to the suffering of others and seek to alleviate it. Compassionate living creates a sense of interconnectedness with all beings. And it dissolves the barriers of ego and selfishness that often keep us feeling isolated and anxious. In addition to compassion for others, it is also important to develop compassion for ourselves. Often, we are our own harshest critics, constantly striving for perfection and feeling inadequate. Self-compassion is about recognizing that we are all human, and we all make mistakes. It is the practice of being kind and gentle with ourselves, especially during difficult times. To develop compassion and loving kindness, start by sending thoughts of love and kindness to yourself. You can repeat phrases such as, "May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I live with ease." Expand this practice by sending love to others, family, friends, and even people you may find challenging. Imagine them surrounded by peace and happiness. Practice compassion in your daily interactions, offering kindness and understanding, even when it is difficult. 5. Embracing stillness and meditation. Meditation is the heart of many Buddhist practices and is one of the most powerful tools for cultivating inner peace. Meditation allows us to quiet the mind, observe our thoughts, and develop a deeper understanding of our true nature. In meditation, we learn to let go of the distractions and mental chatter that often prevent us from experiencing inner calm. There are many forms of meditation, including focused attention on the breath, body scan meditation, and loving kindness meditation. The key is consistency. By meditating regularly, we train the mind to become more peaceful, more centered, and more attuned to the present moment. To meditate, find a quiet, comfortable space where you won't be disturbed. Sit in a comfortable posture with your spine straight and your hands resting in your lap. Focus on your breath, observing the natural flow of air in and out. If your mind wanders, gently bring your attention back to the breath without judgment. Practice for a set period of time, gradually increasing the length as you become more comfortable with the practice. The path to inner peace is a journey. Achieving inner peace is not an overnight process, but a gradual journey of self-discovery, practice, and transformation. By incorporating the practices of mindfulness, letting go of attachment, cultivating gratitude and compassion, and engaging in meditation, we can gradually overcome the mental and emotional turbulence that clouds our minds and hearts. The path to inner peace requires patience, dedication, and a deep commitment to understanding ourselves. But as we cultivate these practices, we find that inner peace is not something we have to chase after, it is already within us, waiting to be uncovered. And once we tap into this peace, we discover that it is the source of lasting happiness, a happiness that is not contingent on the external world but rooted in the calm, steady presence within. Conclusion. Inner peace is one of the most profound values that Buddhism teaches us. In a world filled with worries and the hustle of daily life, seeking peace is not only a need but also a spiritual journey that helps us overcome suffering. Buddhism shows us that true happiness is not something we can attain through material goals or fleeting emotions, but but rather a state of awareness and peace that comes from within. The short-term happiness we often chase in life is usually based on external factors, a new car, a more stable job, or a passionate relationship. However, when we achieve these things, the joy they bring lasts only for a short time and is quickly replaced by new desires. This only intensifies the endless craving, creating a cycle of dissatisfaction and suffering. Buddhism teaches that these things cannot provide lasting happiness. Therefore, instead of chasing external things, we need to turn inward to find peace. Inner peace is not about escaping reality or abandoning the world around us, it is about being present in the moment, the ability to face every challenge without being swept away by it. When our minds become still, when we understand that everything in life is impermanent and do not cling to anything, we can truly find lasting happiness. Buddhism also emphasizes that the journey to find peace is a long process, requiring patience and daily practice. Lessons from meditation, mindfulness, and understanding impermanence help us let go of unnecessary worries and live fully in each moment. When our minds are at peace, we can see life more clearly, not clouded by greed, anger, or ignorance, and face difficulties calmly and wisely. Inner peace is the key to overcoming the stresses of life. Start your journey inward, not only to find peace but also to discover a lasting happiness. Don't let the noise of the outside world make you forget the value of tranquility within. Thank you for watching the video. If you found this lesson helpful, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Life Lessons channel to share valuable teachings together. See you in the next video.